What's good, Richmond, VA, man, Brooklyn, New York, everywhere, Atlanta, Florida, all over the world, man. Whoever got YouTube and is watching this, this is an exclusive interview with my man Rocstagis, man.
What up, what up? Peace, peace, world.
That's what it is. The reason why this is so exclusive is because not only is my man a dope music artist, he's a dope photographer.
Yes, sir.
So this is kind of like a double mixture right here, man. He craves music and he craves photography.
Definitely.
Oh,
definitely. Man,
that's a love. Tell him a little bit about yourself, Stagis.
Born in Richmond, VA. Self-taught photographer, self-taught graphic design artist. Lover of the arts in general. The myth and the legend, man. And what else can I say? We live. CraVe4MuZiK. What's going on? Hey, man.
That's what it is, man. So, yo, Stagis, man. Which craft did you take to heart first?
It was definitely music first. Hip-hop. You know, that's my first love, man. But looking at how the game shifted, a lot of brothers were starting to try to take all of their eggs out of one basket. And so, in doing that, that's when I kind of bred the love for photography. And graphic design and all of that. So, at this point, man, you know, music is my first love, but I love them all equally.
That's what it is. That's what it is. So what really got you into music? Was it the money, the fame, or just the craft of being poetic or even putting the words together? Or what really got you into music?
It's definitely the craft. It's definitely the craft because, I mean, at this point, you know, the money and the fame, when you start to incorporate money into art, you already starting to take away from the integrity of the art. Immediately, as soon as you start talking money. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't feel like an artist should, you know, be out here and just want to just give away work, you know, forever. It's definitely a value that should be put on it. But I think that as artists, we should always put the fame and the money on the back burner. And as long as your creative spark is right, the money and the fame is going to come anyway.
It'll definitely come.
It's going to come, you know, so... For me, it's you know, I crave music. I don't crave fame. I don't crave, you know, the accolades from it. I crave the feeling that I get when I know that I put together something that's dope.
That's dope.
Period. And that's photography, that's graphic design, that's music, you know, that's martial arts, whatever. Like, you know, when I feel like I'm excelling at something, that sense of accomplishment, that's what drives me way more than the money. Way more than the money. The money just happened to follow with it.
Hey, I ain't gonna turn it back.
Nah, I'm not turning it down now, so don't get me wrong. I ain't saying be broke out there. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying hone your craft, get better at what you're doing. Crave it. I'm saying crave it. Crave success. And success is definitely not measured in money, you know, and that's a whole nother talk. Man. But, you know, the brother know. He'll put you on later.
Another time. Because if I let him go, he's gonna go. So, is there any artists that really inspired you into the whole music world?
Thousands of them, man. But to name a few,
name the main ones. The main ones.
Definitely Slick Rick. You know what I mean? Slick Rick was.
To the game.
Yeah. He was. I mean, you know, if I look back and I could say one artist that had the biggest impact on who I am today, is definitely Slick Rick. But you know, Slick Rick, Nas. I listen to a lot of that stuff coming up. You know, my mom's, man, she raised us on a lot of R&B too. So I like any of those brothers back in the day, man, that was chopping up those samples and was spitting those stories and the love songs. But up to date, I think when I started to write, because then I was just, you know, Slick Rick inspired me, but I wasn't writing then. But when I started to write, one of the cats that inspired me the most, man, I have to say was Nas and Ghostface, man. You know, two different energies.
Different energies, yeah.
It's great nonetheless, man. So,
great nonetheless, man.
Cool G rap too, man. It's crazy.
Cool G.
Lyrically crazy.
So when it comes to the photography, is there any famous photographers that really gave you like a gist of it, or was it just you got a camera and you went out there and you just loved the part of freezing time?
Well, initially it was definitely just that aspect of freezing time, but once I got more into it and saw that it was more scientific than what I thought. You know what I mean? It was more. It wasn't just grabbing a camera and just taking a picture. You know, it was a lot of science behind it. And when I started to get more into the science of it, I started to pay attention to different photographers. I'm a big fan of Gordon Parks. I'm a huge fan of Gordon Parks, period. And not only just his photography, but you know, the way in which he got into the game. You know, that's just some typical black man. This is how we gonna do it. So I respect that. On the flip side, I like Carl Taylor. He's dope. I like Dave Hill. I get a lot of inspiration from Dave Hill. He's crazy. And it's a host of others, man. But those are probably the top 3 right now. But shout out Gordon Parks, man. You know, best to do it, man. Period.
Best to do it. I could dig it, man.
Yes, sir.
So when it comes back to music now, what message do you relay with your music?
I mean, anybody that know me know I'm a lover of my people. You know, that's just, that go without saying, man. So I don't ever want to portray anything, or I don't ever, because I mean, you know, it's all about, you know, painting a picture. So I'm not going to knock any genre of music and saying this, but I think that for me, I like to paint a more positive picture, expose the negative and bring forth the positive. So, and outside of that, it's just lyricism. I want to say some shit to make your head spin. You know what I'm saying? I want to say something that's going to
make you have to stop the tape,
rewind it,
play again, and then might want to say, you know, I gotta go on the internet and look for those words. I gotta read it because it was so real what he said.
Back to the essence. It can't. You don't have to do that no more. You listen to a lot of these cats. I don't say no names. It's on the radio. You hear it one time, you know the whole verse.
You know the whole verse.
You know the whole verse. There's nothing really to dissect. There's nothing really to break down or break apart. You know, it's all right there. So, yeah, I want to represent bringing it back to the essence, man. Storytelling, creativity, wordplay, lyricism, presence, you know, all of that, man.
That's a definite, man.
Definitely.
I beg for it. Like, come on, you artists, man. Bring some lyrics. Make me think about what you're saying, man.
Indeed.
Make me stop the tape, play it back, listen to it again, and be like, that was deep.
Word. I used to hear artists, you know, it's crazy, CraVe. Like, I used to hear artists like Nas back in the day, Cannabis.
And
like,
Cannabis,
you would hear one of them dig into a track so hard that after listening to it 100 times or whatever, how many times, you know, blowing a couple, drinking a couple, and just replaying that song, like, I used to always listen to it and say, you know what? I could kill that beat better than they could. You know what I'm saying? And it was, for me, it was a challenge. Even though I never met Nas, I never met Cannabis, I never met Cool G, I never met any Slick Rick, never met them. But I feel like I know them because for me it was sparring with them all the time. And that I think, you know, on a still sharp and still level, that made a lot of us better in that era. But now, I mean, you know, who are we to spar with in the industry now?
But that's just like, it's going back to what you said. Your music is pushing out the negative and bringing forth the positive.
We try.
So basically, with your wordplay and when you're relaying this message to people, it's basically going to make them think about what you're saying.
Yeah.
You might say something about putting guns down and helping another, or you know, stop the violence and create peace, or you know, things of that nature.
And then don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm no saint, you know.
No one said that. You know, just because your thought process is on one level don't mean that everybody's the same.
Yeah, so I don't want people to start dissecting me either. But I think that we as men, you know, and knowing that we're human and we are flawed, that we should always be in a state of progression. So, you know, realizing your flaws is one of the first steps to being able to correct it. And so I think that, you know, a lot of times, man, you know, that's why I like artists like Tupac, and I like artists like Killer Priest, and I respect artists like Kendrick Lamar. I think Kendrick Lamar is dope, you know what I mean? I respect these cats, man, because even DMX and cats like that back in the day, and even Jay with this new joint he just put out, you know what I mean? I respect.
Yeah, the open letter.
I mean,
it had a message to it.
Yeah, I don't think it was Jay's most lyrical exhibition by far, but
I think he was just speaking.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, that to me is like one of the things with hip hop too, because, you know, back in the day, you know, we weren't afraid to speak our mind. Now everybody want to be so politically correct that you keep yourself inside of a box.
Keep yourself,
you know, so you can't really be you, man.
Or you just do something that you think is gonna be
everybody's gonna
commercially hot and so on and so forth. I respect it, man. So how long you been doing music for?
Oh man, I feel like I've been doing it since I came out of the womb, but I just grew up in a musical household. My mother still has a collection of records, probably over about 500 deep, and her CD collection is crazy too. I wrote my first rhyme, and I was stupid young. I don't know, about 9, but I had always, like, even when coming up, you know, I used to always have the tapes, and my mom would get out to me about the rewind, play, because before I wrote my first rhyme, I was writing down everybody else's rhymes. And so I think like that was the inception, you know, that was the start. And I built
it brought it out of you, basically.
Yeah. But I've been performing in talent shows and shit like that since I was, you know, middle school, high school, like always. You know. And still perform here and there, but you know, for the most part we clicking them shutter release buttons and schedule your shoot today.
Yeah, tell them how to.
Yeah. Hit me up, 804-405-0774. Come on down, M3 Studios, home of Devon Wimbush Photography, man. We gonna get you right, man. We gonna get CraVe right before we leave. And, you know, hit me up, man.